Hello, and welcome to another episode of Burn This Podcast with me, Brandie Posey, the host of Burn This Podcast and the founder of Burn This Records. We have another album for you. This one is Wronged from Above from Jeremy Hellwig out of St. Louis, Missouri. It's his debut album. It's a delight. This conversation's a delight. And you are a delight for supporting indie comedy. The album is available for pre-sale right now on Amazon, iTunes, and Bandcamp, and available everywhere to stream this Friday, November 21st, 2025. Oh my God, the year's almost over. It's the weird in-between time between Halloween and Thanksgiving, so take an hour out of your day by supporting a great local artist and dissociate from reality, baby. Enjoy that album. Enjoy this conversation. Enjoy your day.
We don't need no water, let the motherfucker burn.
This podcast. Happy belated Halloween. Did you have a good one?
Yeah, it was good.
Hell yeah.
It's my brother-in-law, sister-in-law's place because they actually get trick-or-treaters.
Oh,
And
nice.
nieces and nephews went out and trick-or-treated. We handed out candy, so it was good.
Oh, that's fun. We got one at our house at 11:30 at night because there's a nice neighborhood like right up the street from us that it's like a whole scene up there, so nobody ever comes here because the poor side of the street. But then we were like, we'd gone and walked around or whatever, and then we like came back and we had the door open and I had my lights on, but just like because I just do at night. And we never get trick-or-treaters here. And then this mom and her kid come up to the door at like 11:30 p.m. And I was like, I got nothing for you, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't have candy. And then I just felt like the most childless millennial ever. I just kind of like looked around my house and I was like, protein powder. Would you?
Hey, you want some pretzels or something?
Yeah, exactly. What do I have that I could give you? I could make you a baggie of nuts. Are you interested in almonds?
The street over from us and like one block that way, there's two
Mhm.
houses that are just like crazy, like I don't know, $10,000 worth of Halloween
Yeah.
decorations. And they like set up like a little like tunnel haunted house thing and like the sidewalk and all that. And so they get like 1,000 kids.
Yeah.
And my brother-in-law used to live down the street from like you could see that his lights on from that house. The kids wouldn't walk half a block. They just get in
Mhm.
a car and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's insane to me. As a
Man.
kid, I was like, we got to hit the whole neighborhood. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Truly.
But they got trunk or treats and stuff and ruined it, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, also it's just like people just don't walk the way they used to. Or like
Yeah.
walking is like this whole like activity that's been gamified in a weird way. And I mean,
Yeah.
as someone I have gamified it for myself too, but you know, it's like I think of it sometimes. I'm like, man, I don't think you're supposed to be thinking about it this much in terms of like, are you doing it?
Yeah. I try to walk like even when it's really hot or when it's really cold, just so I can like stay in the habit of it. And so it'll be like 0 degrees or like 102 degrees, and it'll be like
Yeah.
me and like two people miserable walking their dogs.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm the only one dumb enough to choose to do this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah, I mean, I had like I dog for is the thing that forced me to walk like way more at a certain point. And then he got old and he didn't want to walk anymore and I was like, well, I'd rather just hang out with you anyway, I think.
I had some friends, they were like, you get a dog thinking it'll make you exercise more, but then your dog is like fat and old, and you're like, well, you just spent a half hour walking around the block once.
I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
that's not exercise. That's not exercise.
that is for sure what ends up happening. Yeah, we used to go like do like big walks and hikes and stuff. And then at a certain point, you're like, oh no, I'm like more sedentary now than I was before.
Wasn't he like 18 or something like that?
18 and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, that's old.
Yeah, he's old man. I adopted him on the day that Michael Jackson died, which is like
Wow.
16 and a half years ago. Yeah. It's like how I found out. I was like at the shelter, like meeting him, and then the news started breaking. And that was like the phones didn't have push notifications really yet that
Yeah.
much, you know, so it was like one of the first times that like that had kind of happened where everyone's phones just started buzzing at once. And yeah, for everyone thought it was like a terrorist attack for like half a second, and then you checked your news and were like, "Oh, weird. Okay."
Yeah. Everybody does care about this, but I don't think it was urgent.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
like it would have been all right to find out. And like his paperwork has like mascara dots on it because the woman filling it out was like weeping openly. And I was just trying not to laugh. I was just like, This is the best day of my life. Like, let me have my dog, lady. This is I mean, I'm sorry, you're clearly upset, but this is absurd.
That's so funny.
I mean, LA was like crazy. It was like like because he has 2 stars. Both stars just had like the whole block was filled with flowers and stuff. And then his funeral was at the Staples Center, and it was just crazy traffic and like, oh my God. It's so weird here too, because I remember like I had jury duty during the week that his doctor was in trial.
Oh, so
And
everyone's like, "Oh, are you going to be on that trial?"
oh my God, it was so the whole jury duty system here in LA is crazy because it's like you go downtown and you gotta go wait in a pool, but
Yeah,
all of the rooms there have like pictures of celebrities that have done jury duty, just to be like Alfred Yankovic, serve on a jury, and you're like, what
that's
the?
so funny.
It's really wild. Yeah, and it was like that was Occupy was happening at the same time. So there were all these protesters for the Michael Jackson trial. And then there were,
Yeah,
but it like melded into the Occupy protesters. So it was just this what is how do you feel about this? There's like a certain element of crazy in both
so
camps.
weird.
Yeah. It was a wild, a wild place to
I
be.
vividly remember some guy I know being like, oh, "Now we're gonna just like it's gonna be all Michael Jackson songs for like the next month." And then one of my other friends was like, "Hey, his music is good though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, his
what are you
music is
complaining about?"
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like I mean, and yeah, it's fun to hear some hits other than the the regular
yeah.
ones too. So I don't know, truly, truly wild times.
Does anybody else wish there was more terrorists that agreed with you? Like the same total amount of terrorism happens. It's just some of it's done by cool guys with good opinions for once. Like if there's gonna be terrorism, I want them to be blowing things up and then turning in detailed policy position papers based on peer-reviewed research. And the mayor's office is like, we don't negotiate with terrorists, but goddamn, their demands are just too reasonable. I want it to be like there's a day where like there's a terrorism happening in St. Louis, and you turn on the TV, and they're giving their demands, and they're like, we need to take real action against climate change, or we're gonna keep burning down police stations. You're like, hell yes, we're finally doing something. 2 of my issues, yes. I wrote that joke a few years ago, and it was supposed to be just shocking, dumb, bullshit, whatever. But then, a week later, a guy landed a small aircraft on the Capitol lawn because he wanted campaign finance reform. And the next day on CNN, they talked about campaign finance reform. So guys, I think I might be onto something here. There's a reason everybody knows what Al-Qaeda wanted, but not everybody knows how to explain single-payer health care. And that is a better PR plan. So my point is, if you agree with me politically, go buy a gun, write your manifesto, and then be the change you want to see in the world. Mitch McConnell has kids and grandkids. They've never been kidnapped. History will call us cowards.
Did you do anything like with Occupy or anything around that back then?
No, 2009, I was in college in like rural Missouri, and there
Oh
might have
yeah.
been some kind of thing out in the quad, but I was just like, what are you protesting?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Here specifically.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then the second half of 2009 was when I was in China.
Oh,
So
oh, cool.
I taught English 2009, 2010. I was there for like 11 months.
Oh man, that's
So
awesome. Man,
I
how?
had some friends that were real involved in like New York, like they were there
Yeah.
for the union semester or whatever and got
Mhm.
really involved. So that was pretty cool. Just
Yeah.
hearing about it, but I just felt like it was just like a thing happening really far from me the
Yeah,
whole time.
for sure. That makes sense. Man, I didn't know. I don't think I think I knew that you taught English in China, but I'd forgotten that. That's awesome. That's really
Yeah.
cool. How like what would I man, now I have lots of questions about that experience
Oh
because
yeah.
like
Go ahead.
we have so much propaganda for like what China is like. Like what was
Oh
the actual
yeah.
experience of that versus like what America had taught you about it?
Well, it's like It's like I was talking to someone recently who like this is before not that recently, it was before the Ukraine war, but he'd gone to Russia and he was like, "There's all these people like Putin," and I was like, "Yeah, what did you think? Like,
Yeah.
he wins the elections. Like, it's
Yeah.
they aren't like, oh, it's a dictator. Like, so I don't know, China, they're like, I don't know. It's one of those things like something that I read somewhere was like, definitely don't talk about, I think it was the three T's. It was like Tiananmen Square massacre,
Hmm.
Taiwan, independence, and Tibet. So
Yeah.
like one time some student was talking about, oh, they met this person and they said they're from Taiwan. They said it's another country. And I'm like, I'm not gonna engage in this conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm over here. I'm visiting.
But it's like, I don't know, you don't really think about the political situation the whole time you're there. It's a
Yeah.
lot of just like weird things that are different. Like people are like a lot more superstitious in like a different way. But then if you point out to them, they're like, oh, not compared to the people from Hong Kong. They're like crazy superstitious. And you're like, okay, I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. I don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting, man. Huh. Did were your most of your students Chinese then, or
Yeah, they're all
okay?
some are Mongolian because I was in Inner Mongolia, which is
Mm.
the way I describe that is if we called Mexico Outer Mexico and New Mexico Inner Mexico because we're the center of the world, that's how Inner Mongolia is.
Got it. Okay.
People think, oh, you were in Mongolia. Like, no, I was in Inner is China. China is
Yeah.
the center.
Oh man. Did you get to travel around a lot, or are you just mostly
We
working there?
traveled a ton. It was like
Yeah.
maybe at least like a month worth of travel,
Hmm.
which was pretty cool because we had like a long winter break because of when Chinese New Year fell relative to the New Year's. And then we had like almost a month in the summer. So I was there for 11 months and almost 2 months that was like traveling, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's really
And
cool.
taking trains, taking like sleeper trains, which is awesome. Nowadays, I don't think you would take that many sleeper trains because they're all like high speed rail. It's all fucking both are better than what we have here.
Yeah, I
Um,
know. It's still here 15 16, 17 years later at this point too.
oh yeah, I just took the train to Chicago and I was talking to someone. I was like, let's see, the train that goes from Beijing to Shanghai. If we were taking that right now, this would be a hour and a half trip instead of 5 hours. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Man. Well, I mean, at least we're free. Nothing is paid for, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's a good fun thing for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Um, your album is Wrong from Above. This is your first album, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Hell yeah. What made you feel like it was like time to record?
So back in 2019, I was working on the show called Fatal Bus Accident with three of my friends. That it started as like an actual talk show, and then it became like a fictional talk show where like it's all like a fictional world. And it
Mhm.
was monthly, and then eventually it was like every other month, and then eventually it was like we just put so much work into it. And I went on vacation, and I came back ready to like keep working, and the other three were like, "Hey, we came up with an idea. What if we kill off our characters, and this is the finale?" And I was like, maybe you should go on vacation. I don't know. But
Yeah,
then I was
yeah.
like, it was the right decision and it was a really good show. And I was like, okay, well, if we're done doing this, because I was like doing stand up, but I like
Hmm.
there'd be 2 weeks out of the month where like I had to memorize lines and wasn't at open mics. So like that's half my time.
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna work really hard and stand up. I wrote a bunch of jokes the rest of that year, and I was like, end of 2020, I'm gonna record this.
Haha, yeah.
And March 14th, because it was a pie themed party.
Hmm.
I talked to a guy that's an audio engineer and I was like, hey, we don't record this. And he's like, yeah, sure. And then that didn't happen. Um, and so then starting in 2021, for a while, I kept being like, okay, next year I'm gonna do it. And then eventually I was like, I need to pick a date.
Yeah.
And like the last date that I could do it that wasn't because like my brother was getting married that summer and I knew I was gonna be like traveling for that.
Hmm.
And so I was like, I want to tour a bunch in the lead up to this. So I was like, okay, end of June, which I didn't realize was Pride in St. Louis. But so that hurt ticket sales a little bit. But I was like, no, I can't delay this anymore. And so yeah, last year in June recorded it.
Hell yeah. No, yeah, I think a lot of people were getting were 2020 was going to be a year of a lot of albums. I've talked to a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of people that were like, I was ready, and then it takes a while to get back up, and then I mean, I remember I had a really hard time because I did a lot of Zoom shows during 2020, and when I started performing in live again, it had messed with my timing quite a bit because of just like
Oh
the
yeah.
talking through like a Zoom joke, that I was like, "Ooh, you gotta slow down," because you're so used to like playing with like it just took me a while to get my old sea legs back, and I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you're not ready to record at all. You need a minute."
So much of my like process and what I get out of like
Hmm.
doing a set is like listening back to it and like
Hmm.
hearing the reaction. And so like if people asked me to do a Zoom show, I would do it. So I did like a few, but then
Hmm.
I'd listen back and be like, well, this is just me in a room. I don't know. This isn't.
Not getting anything out of this.
But I think I just like became a better comedian over the course of 2020 somehow. Because like
Mhm.
someone was like, hey, I think you've improved by not doing it for 14 months. I don't know what happened. And I'm like, I don't know. I did some volunteering and I read a bunch of books and watched a bunch of movies. It's gotta
That's
help.
I think yeah, I think a lot of comics that I mean like I like and enjoy. It's like they were like, oh, I kind of needed a break to be able to like absorb stuff again and not just like be an output
Yeah.
machine too. It's like especially if you are like a consumer of art and you enjoy other forms of it, it's hard to be like, oh, I can actually just sit back and do this stuff and not just be focused on like, well, what is my point of view all the time.
Yeah. And I think there's some jokes that probably would have been in one end of the album that like, you take some time off and like
Yeah.
you cut out the parts that are bad. Like some of those jokes, I just like took some time off and I was like, eh.
Yeah, that part's
And
lagging.
it's
Let
like,
me edit it. Yeah.
or just this whole joke. I'm like, whatever. Like, where
Mhm.
is it? I would have been like, oh, I'm polishing this. I'm polishing this. And I'm like, no, I have ideas that are better than this. And then I don't know, it's better.
So there's a group of people on the internet that I think are hilarious, and they're men's rights activists, and they call themselves meninists. And my favorite thing about men's rights activists that call themselves meninists is that means that they think the opposite of feminine is meninin. It's a whole movement that's never heard the word masculine before. It's like when somebody says they're a meatitarian. Oh, you eat meatables? No, you don't. Stop talking to me. So, obviously, we're doing the stand-up special, which means I've been working real hard to promote it for the last few months. Yeah, I put in effort, and you're here. You can woo that if you want to. And has included hanging up posters all over town. You know how sometimes you're at a bar, and there'll be a designated area on the wall where there's a collage of trash? Because activists and artists had a dream. I'm adding to those collages. And it's an 11 by 17 zoomed in photo of my face. And it's in a lot of bathrooms now. So a bunch of bartenders have looked me up on Instagram to say, hey man, whenever I have to take a piss at work, you stare me in the eyes the whole time. One thing about hanging up posters is you have to figure out what events have already happened so you can tear that one down so there's room for yours. So the best time to do this is the week of Shen Yun. Because they convince everyone. If they tell me no and I'm like the weird fascist Chinese cult dance thing, can advertise but not Jeremy Hellwig comedian? This isn't fair. But recently, I was hanging them up, and the only event that had already happened, it wasn't a comedy show, it wasn't a concert, it was actually a protest. And the poster said, ceasefire now, end the genocide, and then the date, which was in the past. And so I looked at it and I was like, the protest did already happen. If I don't tear this down, somebody else will tomorrow. Which means all over town, people were sitting there eating lunch, and I would walk in and confidently tear down the anti-genocide poster, and then replace it with a big-ass photo of my face. Say thanks to the bartender, and then walk out. Like, is that guy a psycho-Zionist, or is he just really vain? And also, it's not a normal photo of me. It's me in this pose. So yeah, if you want one of those, the show's already happening. Just go anywhere. Just rip it off the wall.
Your opening bit is funny because it's about having your face plastered all over the place, which I imagine that's
Oh, yeah.
that's like so that's a newer bit that you wrote for the thing.
Yeah, I wrote that a couple months before. I'll show you after the podcast, but
Okay.
I have someone graffitied one of those posters and it looked really cool. So then
Uh-huh.
the day after the show, I went to that bar and like got it off the bathroom wall. And
Hell
like, I'm
yeah.
gonna frame it eventually. You can see there's a stack of stuff that I haven't hung up in this room yet.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, I believe me. I have like a stack of art that I'm like, all right, when do we rotate that on the walls?
oh
Like,
yeah. My
yeah.
wife and I'll go to like, there'll be like a local little fair, like a few
Mhm.
blocks over from here. And it's like, all this art is really cool. We have to hang up 20 more things before we can buy more things because we
Yeah.
have so much shit.
Totally. Absolutely. Well, and then it's like you got to pay for the frame of it. You got to figure all that,
Oh yeah.
yeah, figuring it all out is good. But then
And when you're buying from local artists, like nothing is like a standard size because it's like a printmaker that did a
yes.
lithograph or linotype or whatever it is. And you're like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then it's like, man, if you're gonna get something custom framed, number one, it's way too expensive, way
yeah.
so much more expensive than it should be. And also, I find the framer guys at like a Michaels to be like the biggest snobs I've ever
Oh,
encountered in my life. And
I, w-
why?
I went in there with that. It's like a Chinese propaganda poster that I
Yeah.
bought when I studied abroad there uh, years ago. And I went in and they're like, this is going to be like $400. I'm like, what? You don't have
Why?
poster frames? They're like, those are smaller than that. I was like, now there's a website. There's a couple websites now.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's like $30,
Yeah.
whatever. So,
Exactly. I'd rather do that than like deal with this. Also, like I got a thing framed that I wanted to get matted. Like it was like a nice comedy poster with a great lineup that I was proud of. And I remember taking it in and I was like kind of playing with the different mats to be like, all right, well, how do I want to do this? And this guy was just like, you should try this instead, actually. Like he was like an artiste at knowing how to
oh,
frame. And I was like, I can't get away from
it's like
me.
these people that work on commission and are like, this is going to be impossibly expensive because I have to hand do every square inch of it. And you're like, oh, well, I'm just not going to. At the time, I was like, I don't know, like 24. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm just not going to frame any of this. I don't know.
Yeah, no, exactly. I guess I'll just like put it up separately
This is
then,
going to go
whatever.
in a thing that's going to just move with me from house to house until this house, where now it is framed because I found a website.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. 10, 15 years later.
Yeah, it's like take it easy. Man, just the way I do find it as a stand-up, I really love salesmen like can't neg you because you have the same skill set as them but are
Oh,
better
yeah.
at it in different ways, you know?
Mhm.
Like I always feel like it's like a weird superpower that like when I realized that it was like, oh, actually, I just need to treat this person like a belligerent audience member and I'll get control of this conversation and they won't know what's happening.
Yeah. I went to buy some shoes. It's like a shoe carnival and it's like in the city. And so I guess they were like worried about like shoplifting. My wife went there and she didn't have this experience because I think they aren't stealing the women's shoes. But
Yeah.
it was like one shoe in each box. And also I didn't like any of them. I was
Hmm.
like, I don't know, maybe I'll try these on because I'm about to go to Chicago. I'm walking. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, can you get the other shoe? And like I took it and he put it up front and I was like, hey, you're gonna bring me the shoes? He goes, oh, they wanted to buy them. I was like, no, I want to try them on. He goes, okay, well, I gotta go get a tag for it so that like an anti-theft tag. And like 5 minutes later, I was like, I didn't like the shoes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna wait 10 more minutes to convince myself to buy shoes I don't like. I just like walked out. I was so mad.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus.
I was
Yeah.
like, I probably would have bought these from you if it wasn't like an arduous experience with like 20 steps.
Yeah. Exactly. Definitely. It's like, don't come on, man. Like this is which it didn't always used to be like that. It used to just be like, bring me a couple pairs of shoes from
Yeah.
wherever they keep shoes. I never really know where
Oh
they
yeah.
are.
And you're like, do you have my size in the back? And they're like, well, there's nothing in the back. Well, there is something in the back. It's
Yeah.
half of every pair of shoes in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you'd have room if you didn't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Something's happening back there. Ah, man. I one of my good friends used to do she sold shoes at Nordstrom's out here and Meryl Streep came in one time to
Ooh.
buy shoes and she ran and hid because she was a huge Meryl Streep fan and she was like, I can't, this can't be how I meet Meryl Streep. I can't be
Yeah.
the one to be putting shoes on her feet. I don't
Yeah,
want to
you want
wait
to have
for
a
her.
conversation with Meryl Streep. You don't want your anecdote to be, I've touched Meryl Streep's feet, because
Yeah,
that's so weird.
exactly. It's such a specific Venn diagram of person that would be impressed with that. Be like, oh man, like, oh, foot guys, is what it
Yeah.
is.
For guys that watched Devil Wears Prada because it had a picture of a shoe on the cover.
Yeah, exactly. And they're all of their reviews are needed more feet. That guy, very impressed.
That reminds me, I was just telling my friend, we watched this French movie the other day called Mishka from like 2002, whatever. And I
Hmm.
was on Letterboxd and I was looking at lists that it was in, and they're
Hmm.
mostly like every French movie, and there's like 10,000 movies on the list, like
No.
insane people put together. But one of them was movies with pee scenes, because there's so many scenes where you see like a guy like pissing
Fan.
out back or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And I thought it was, and it's like they have a whole website where you can submit movies that you notice there's a peeing scene. And I'm like, this is so foreign to me that you would care about this.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because I wonder if you were a fan of that. Like, if you're upset, because most movies don't have a scene of people going to the bathroom, which
No.
I have thought before. I was like, well, you probably have to pee at some point in this action sequence. Like in the
Yeah.
Fast and the Furious films, at what point is Vin Diesel taking a piss? Dom Toretto has to. We've never
Yeah.
seen it.
It's just he sweats enough that he doesn't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I've done like canvassing for political stuff, and you're like, I'm gonna do this for 3 hours, and then you sweat so much, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess the piss just came out my pores.
Hooray. Yeah, the human body, what a miracle. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I was hanging out with a friend that was a tour guide the other day, and I was talking about how that, and she drives people around the city, and I was like, that would stress me out because, like, I feel like I would just be deeply dehydrated because I would be
Oh yeah.
afraid of having to like pee with a tour group with me or something.
Oh, that'd be so embarrassing.
Yeah, it would be a nightmare. Nightmare. Well, I mean, you have a story about shitting yourself on the album. I wasn't working my way towards that transition, but here we are.
When I was in second grade, I was a good kid. I did all my homework. I followed all the rules. Then one day, I really had to use the bathroom. So I raised my hand. My teacher was busy grading papers or something. She didn't look up for like 40 minutes. And I follow the rules. I'm not just going to go to the bathroom without permission. So I waited. And eventually, she let me go, went across the hall to the bathroom, closed the stall door, unbuckled my belt, and then shit my pants. 100% of the way. All the shit that you can shit was no longer inside of me, but was still in my pants. And now this sounds like it's going to be a gross joke, but it's not. This is actually a harrowing tale of survival. Because if any of you were to shit your pants on accident at work as an adult, there's enough people in this room, statistically, a couple of us have done that. You have an escape plan built into your brain. You can get out of that situation. Second grader cannot do even one step of that plan. What do you do first? You take off your underwear, throw it in the trash. I can't do that. My mom bought me these. Next step, you drive home, take your pants off, throw them in the washing machine, take a shower. I didn't have a car, know how to drive. I didn't even know where my house was relative to the school. I have ADD. I have never paid attention while another person's driving in my life. You just sit down, it takes a long time, and then you're there. Also, I didn't know how to use the washing machine. What am I gonna just leave a shit surprise for my mom to find? Also, I didn't take showers, I took baths. What am I, just sit in poop water for 20 minutes? Next step of the adult escape plan. Call your boss, say, hey, I wasn't feeling well, I'm gonna work from home, see you tomorrow. What am I gonna call the school whose number I don't know and don't know how to look up and be like, hey, tell Mrs. Kovorak I'm gonna teach myself cursive today. See you tomorrow. So that's the plan, and no, I couldn't do it. So before I say what I did do, multiple audience members have said, why don't you just rinse your pants out in the sink? Oh, so I can smell like I shit myself and look like I pissed myself? Terrible idea, idiots. It wasn't you. I'm just mad at audiences in general. So here's what I did do. I wiped as best I could, but try not to use too much toilet paper because I was concerned for the rainforest. You remember being a little nerdy goody two-shoes? We were dumb. Then, washed my hands, but in a hurry, because I was like, they'll be suspicious. I shit myself 1 second into being in the bathroom. They were not suspicious about how long I took. Next step, play it cool, Jeremy. We're gonna just reintegrate back into society as if nothing happened. Any predictions? What happens next? I sat down at my chair. 1 trillionth of a second later, cute girl at my table goes, "Oh, what's that smell?" I was like, "Oh no, I forgot about smell." Then I was like, "I don't smell anything." And then other cute girl goes, "Yeah, did somebody fart?" She who smelt it dealt it. Then I look down at my worksheet, and there's 1/2 of a brown fingerprint on it. I failed this assessment more thoroughly than anyone would have thought possible. So here's how you get out of that situation without being called poop pants boy for the rest of elementary school. Is you go to the front of the room and tell the teacher that you shit your pants. So you can go to the office and tell the principal that you shit your pants. Then you call your mom at work and tell her that you shit your pants. And then I assume she told my dad, but he never mentioned it to me. Which is good. What's he gonna say? "Hey, son, try not to do that next time." Thanks, Dad. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like for a while people had jokes about shitting themselves, but I was like, I don't know, I'm framing it about being a child
Yeah.
and how it's like a totally different experience.
Oh, completely. I think. Well, I think it's so funny because you're just like, yeah, all the things that you would do to cope as an adult are not available to you as a kid. Which is true. I mean that. Yeah. It's
That joke was tough working on because sometimes people early in the joke will go, "Oh," I'm like, no,
no.
don't feel sorry for the child. Like
No.
I am him.
I survived.
Yeah. I added, it was like the last like month before the album that I added the line about that this isn't gross, this is a harrowing tale of survival. And I'm like,
Yes.
oh, that just makes it work.
Yeah.
Where was that line when I wrote this joke 5 years ago?
Sometimes you just gotta wade through it till you figure out like that's the thing that actually will will pull it all together in the right way. Because yeah, it is like I like a triumphant tale. Also, like I'm a fan.
Oh yeah,
Man.
I did that joke, and my parents came to see me, and they were like, "We don't remember that happening." I'm like, "Oh, I vividly remember that happening." I think my one of my brothers had an experience where he was on antibiotics or some sort of medicine thing, and like it happened like in the classroom, and so like that eclipsed all memory of my like I got away with it situation.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's just like okay, that was the more harrowing of the two things to go through. And I mean, like I do think like it's like you're still shitting yourself in the bathroom. I mean, that's better than. I mean, God, did you ever have a puke kid in your class that was just like projectile vomited in class?
No,
We
I
had
did have a
several.
kid in middle school that would just not do his like assignment or presentation or whatever, and then he would cough until it made him throw up.
That's
Like
weird.
I guess he got up. I understand procrastinating. I wanted to record this album in 2020, and we're releasing it at the end of 2025.
Yeah.
I understand. I have ADHD, but to get that far
Yeah.
That's your only out.
To perfect
And
a
like,
whole new skill. Yeah.
and like the second or third time it happened, my teacher was just like, okay. She's like, we're
Yeah.
not,
Yeah, you can't
you're
overdo it.
still getting a 0 for this.
Yeah, you can't overdo it. I learned that. I remember being in it was in first grade. I liked my whole day up until recess. And then whatever classes I had after recess, I was not a fan of. And I at some point actually was sick and went to the nurse's office and then I got to go home early. And then I didn't understand moderation at that age, though, because then every day after recess, I'd be like, well, oh, I'm sick. I need to go to the nurse's office. I just was like, I think my day's over. And I did it way too many times. And at a certain point, they just were like, no, you're not. We know you're lying. And I'm like, "God, it was an early lesson in like, you gotta space this shit out if you're gonna try to grift the system, don't be so
Oh yeah.
obvious about it.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not going to work every time, you
No.
know?
No, definitely not. Well, in first grade specifically, like my recess game was like they had this with this big oak tree, and I was Captain Picard, and I had a crew, and I
Oh,
told them
cool.
all like I gave everyone missions during recess, and then they brought their stuff back from the woods to me. Like that was what I did basically.
I
So
like
it
you're
always
delegating your exercise to other people.
basically, yeah. I'd be like, I'm checking all the knobs on the tree. You guys have to go get acorns. Come back with this many. Like I just a little bossy first grader. But people were into it. They didn't have to be, but they were. And then
It does sound
yeah.
like a fun game for
Yeah,
that age.
I think so. It was cool. And then I remember being like, well, my job's done for the day. I'd like to go home now.
Oh, yeah.
That's fully how I felt. Oh man. But yeah, I remember we had a couple of kids around that age who because did you guys have this thing where like after recess they like brought everybody milk?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I remember very specifically because I've never been a big milk fan, but there was this like after recess, like one of those like little milks that everybody got, and that's
So was
always when.
recess, it was like lunch, recess,
Mm-hmm.
milk, or
Lunch recess.
not like some people have recess disconnected from lunch, and I never understand that. But
No, yeah, I that
yeah.
would be very strange to me. Yeah, we had lunch, then recess, and then we would get like a milk after recess, like when we were settling into our next class afterwards. And now that I'm putting it together, I wonder if that's why I wanted to go home because I really dislike milk. Um, but yeah,
It's
and
like
then
you
that.
exercise, now your stomach's full. Now pay attention for 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Also, here's
Yeah.
more dairy on top of like a hot stomach. Like it really that and we had several kids that would puke and then they'd bring the sawdust or whatever the fuck to clean that up and you know, just the harrowing tales of elementary school in the 90s.
It's intense.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it used to be pukes and then you know what's funny? I remember like elementary school was like a lot of puking. Middle school was at least in Maryland where I was from, bomb we had a lot of bomb threats in middle school was a big
Weird.
thing. Yeah, like
I don't think
it
we had any.
yeah, we had a couple and I always remember like because if it was during the cold months, they gave everybody those like aluminum ponchos to keep yourself warm. So I just remember
Hmm.
always being like a couple of times. At least it was probably like at least two a year in middle school.
Wow.
Yeah, it happened a lot. And then high school was when the school shooting started. So, just a
Yeah,
fun,
yeah,
fun memory, walk down memory lane.
yeah. It's like high school, 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
I remember uh, I was in the freshman football team, and our coach, who was this older guy, he'd retired, and now he's, I guess, coaching the freshman team because his son was on it. But he did this whole thing about, oh, when he was younger, Pearl Harbor had happened, blah blah blah. And then later I did the math, and I was like, I think he was like 2.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't remember Pearl Harbor.
No, there's no way. You absolutely don't.
Just for
Like,
some reason, like that's a detail from that day that sticks with me more than a lot of other ones in the day that everyone remembers.
yeah, yeah. Well, because if you were in college in 2009, how old were you when 9/11 happened?
I was a freshman in high school in
Oh, okay.
2001, and then I graduated college 2009.
Oh, okay. Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, I was a senior and like we had like our uh I had like AP psychology and when it happened like first period and our teacher like was this guy, Mr. O'Boyle, that like he liked doing experiments on us in general, like and fucking with us. So like no one
Mm.
believed him. We were all just like, Mr. O'Boyle, it's not fucking funny. People's parents work there. And he was like, I'm not making it up. And then he put on the radio and we still didn't believe. We're like, okay, did you make this radio play for us? Because like truly, he was just a guy that always had like he'd be like, if you guys get an A average, I'll show you narcoleptic dogs. Like he had VHS tapes of crazy shit. I bet you YouTube like was a renaissance for that man.
Oh, yeah, his brain is rotting now.
Oh, for sure.
He's gone too far down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, totally. Oh man, do you? You're from Missouri originally, then, huh?
Yeah, let's say
Okay, got it. What was 9/11 like in Missouri? How did Missouri handle it?
What is that day? I remember first period we had a substitute, this guy that was just like one of those old guys that's just did substitute all the
Yeah.
time. And someone was like, hey, Mr. Hunter, can we watch the news about the plane that crashed into the World Trade Center? And I'm like, World Trade Center is just some building
Yeah.
to me. And I thought it was like a tiny little plane. And the guy was like, no, this is biology class. We don't watch the news. What?
Yeah.
And then I went to like my next class and they had it on the TV and I was like, whoa.
Like, oh shit, this is a whole thing.
And then our French teacher said the people that died would have wanted us to learn French that day and not take the day off from learning. I vividly remember her saying that. Such an insane thing.
Fucking respect. Wow. That's wild. Oh man. Yeah, I remember watching it on our if you were in marching band, you got to eat lunch in the band room if you wanted to, which was like a big room. So like we would always do that. And they had like one of those like big jumbo TVs. And I remember watching 9/11 happen, all the shit that day on there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I remember like years like 5 years ago. So I mean I graduated in 2002. So it's been a hot minute since I was in school. But one of my friend's youngest sisters, she was a senior. She was doing like a Christmas concert or holiday concert, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll come watch it. I'll go. And then we had to like walk around the school a little bit and walk to the band room. And it was so funny because like they still had the big old TV, and I just went, oh my god, I watched 9/11 on that TV. It's like, what I said out loud. There's like a clarinet player who was like, what? It was like, oh fuck. Indoor thoughts.
Well, the kids probably aren't thinking it replayed all day. They're thinking, wow, she saw it happen live, which
Yeah.
you're Eastern time zones. You might have been
Yeah.
an hour earlier than me, so you might have seen it live. I don't know.
I didn't see it. I didn't see like the thing happen like live, but I mean, we watched just the fallout from it all day. But also, like, I mean, I'm from half an hour from DC, basically. So like, we had like where I went to high school, everyone's parents worked for the government, so no one knew where their parents were because their parents were locked down at work. So it was like it added like so much crazy chaos. Like, I remember my friend Tanya, both her parents worked for the Pentagon, but they also weren't at the Pentagon. They were out of town in New York. So she was like,
convenient. Oh, not convenient.
yeah. So she was like, oh, fuck, they're there. But then also her family is originally from that small town in Pennsylvania that United 93 crashed into.
Oh.
So she was having like the worst day of her life.
It's like everything's connected to her. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember like we were in health class in the second half of the day and they came over the announcements and they were like, all after school practices are canceled. And this guy who was on the football team was just like, yes, no football practice. And like, she started sobbing and I was like, what the fuck's the matter with you, dude? Like, come on, man.
I just realized, it just occurred to me that this is another topic that I do have a joke about.
Oh, hell yeah.
Here's something most audience members don't agree with. I think it's dumb when people complain that Christopher Columbus didn't discover America. Who's with me? Probably nobody. Because here's the thing. There's more than enough things to complain about that guy without that one. You got genocide, mass rape, murder, enslaving people, and people are like, and he didn't even discover America. Yeah, who cares? Neither did you. Did you know the BTK killer also had expired tags? The evil that walks among us, you guys. It's horrible to think about. You know that Jeffrey Epstein didn't pay his taxes one time? Uh-oh! The depths of human depravity are almost unthinkable. You know the guy Adolf Hitler? You know what he did? Didn't even discover America. Send him to The Hague. Here's another one most audience members don't agree with, and that is, I think it's stupid that firefighters have American flag patches on their uniform. Who's with me? Probably even less people than before. Because we're in Missouri. What else country are you going to be from? Oh man, my house burned down. What happened? I tried to flag down a firefighter. Turns out it was a Canadian Mountie. If only you could tell them apart. Also, it's already like a cool, important, difficult to do job that gets a lot of respect. Why you also gotta pretend you're in the army? Because you don't work for the United States of America. You work for the special tax district set up in unincorporated St. Louis County to fund emergency services. Put that on your shirt, right? I know what some of you are thinking because audience members have yelled it before. What about 9/11? Yeah, I know. I didn't forget 9/11. We all made a promise. I held up my end of the deal. But if you're going to bring up 9/11 for firefighters, you got to remember, way more finance guys died on 9/11 than firefighters. Did you ever think about that? They were the target of the attack, and we never talk about them. Is it because they're evil? I don't know. I've never heard of a finance guy ironing a patch into his Brooks Brothers jacket. Get up for my bro. We were doing spreadsheets that day. So one time I told that joke at a winery in Waterloo, Illinois. Some of you are familiar. It's a small town named for the place where Napoleon was defeated by the armies of Europe, but is where I was defeated by a 90% elderly Republican audience. During that joke, a lady literally yelled out, "Next!" And I was like, what, do you have a flag patch factory in town or something? And then everybody applauded. I looked it up later. They don't have a patch factory. I'm pretty sure it's just because I said flag in a positive tone of voice. You're watching the Fox News, that's all it takes. I could have said America, and some of them would have had erections for the first time in 20 years.
The thing with the finance guys, I think I thought about that because I do like software testing at work, and our customer, a few products ago that I was on, is a financial services company, and they were like, oh yeah, every year we do a memorial for 9/11 because one of the companies that we bought lost half of their company in the attack. And I'm like, man, that's so fucked up. The company dies and then you just get bought out by a company that didn't happen to.
I wonder how long they got off before they had to come back to work, the ones that lived. Like, I feel like
either a lot or it was like, well, shit, we only have half the people.
Yeah. And how many meetings were just like, where is this? And be like, well, Stan died, so we don't have access to that. You know, like, oh my God, what a nightmare. That is funny, kind of funny to think about now.
Oh yeah.
As you do, you know, it's our generation's just like weird. It's just like watching the fallout from all of it happen is always just like, well, how am I supposed to take this serious as a tragedy when you made it so opportunistic? And
having lived through the pandemic, your brain does go through, well, then I guess they work from home. Like you're like, we've been through a tragedy. So yeah.
Exactly. The original work from home.
Yeah, as my building fell down.
Yeah, exactly. I have one more question. Are the birds still terrorizing you?
They're not, because I moved.
Oh, okay.
I moved like one neighborhood over,
Okay.
And I always liked, I think what it was, we had these two like hawks that had a
Mhm.
nest like across the street. And I always liked them because I assumed, I don't know, they're kind of cool to watch. There was a
Yeah.
lot less squirrels in that neighborhood than there are in this one because we had hawks all the
Yeah.
time. But now I'm like, were they the ones that were shitting on my car all the time? I
I
was
don't
assumed,
know.
because I had another problem with birds before they were shitting on my car all the time, which was they always wanted to build nests like right above the front door
Oh, yeah.
in a spot that there was not room. So they were just delivering trash to my porch like all the time. Like they
Yeah.
wouldn't give up. Or like they would build a nest in the wreath. And so I'm like, I can't have a fucking wreath up.
Yeah.
Uh, and then another thing that got from the joke was in 2018, the day before my wife and I went to Germany for 2 weeks. I went out to my car and it looked like someone had thrown paint on it. Like there was so much bird shit
Oh my God.
that I went to the car wash after work and I had to go through like 4 times. The guy was like, "Hey man, next time this happens, don't like wait a month." Like come. I was like, "This happened last night."
Yeah.
So I had
Yeah,
to use my
don't blame
windshield
me.
wiper to like. No, I'd use like
Wow.
an ice scraper to get it off.
Wow. Holy shit.
So I don't know how that happened. Just the one time. Then the stuff the joke is about was like literally every day there'd be like a little bit. And I was tweeting about it, and one of my friends was like, "You should write a joke about that." I was like, "What would that even be?"
Yeah.
And then I did. So
Then it's the titular joke.
yeah, I think I told you I was gonna call. Originally, the idea was to call it "Live from Madison Square Garden," just
Yeah.
because I think that'd be funny to call it that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe I'd get sued by them, and then Streisand effect my way into whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm gonna call it "Live from the Heavy Anchor" just because I like the people that run the Heavy Anchor run.
Hmm.
And then Stryker, who edited it, he was like, "You should call it Wrong from Above," and I was like, "Yeah, that is a good name."
Yeah.
So
There we
and
are.
he was great. He did a lot of he's a stand-up also and does like
Mhm.
movie editing. So he did a lot of like, hey, the second part of this joke's kind of saying the same thing as the first part. Like, let's just do the better part.
Yeah.
Hey, the last line is fine, but like you want to end on the one before. Like, so I don't know. He was great
Yeah.
to work with.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That's the thing I wanted to remember to say on the podcast because Striker was great.
Okay, so here's something almost every audience finds very relatable about me, and that is my car is constantly covered in bird shit. Who else hates these fucking birds? Yeah. If you're not wooing, what? You never been wronged from above before? Who else hates these fucking hollow bone perverts stinking up the sky? Get some real bones, come down and fight me like a man, bitch. I know what some of you are probably thinking. Hey, idiot on stage with the glasses and the microphone. Stop parking your car under the tree full of birds. Good suggestion. One problem, I don't park under a tree. I don't know how they're doing it. It's just a drive-by shitting 7 days a week. It's like the Battle of Britain, where my car's London and these birds are Hitler's Luftwaffe. Yeah, there's Nazi birds in St. Louis. The windshield wiper was invented in 1902 by a woman who didn't even own a car or a driver's license. She was just tired of the trolley driver having to stop the trolley to get snow off the windshield. And when I learned that fact, my first thought was, thank God I don't live in the past. But for 122 years, that's 62 years, windshield wipers were good and adequate at protecting our cars. But now that these birds have practiced every day for multiple years, they're good at only hitting the part the windshield wiper doesn't reach. Like they know that pisses me off. I think I'm gonna buy a gun. Seems like a reasonable course of action at this point. Because I live in South City. Occasionally you hear gunshots during the day and you're like, that can't be crime. The sun's out. That's a regular citizen like me who's sick and tired of these fucking birds and decided to do something about it. No, I'm not gonna buy a gun. Here's my revenge plan. I'm gonna go to engineering school and then I'll learn how to design a car for birds. A bird-sized car. Then I'm going to market it heavily in my neighborhood. So if you live near here, look out for some bird language billboards, some bird ads on the radio. Eventually, all these birds are going to put on the little bird suits, go down to the bird credit union, get a bird loan, buy their bird cars. And every time I see one, dropping trow, squatting down, play with fire, you're going to get burnt, motherfucker. And by burnt, I mean a human-sized turd on your bird-sized car. And if that sounds disproportionate, you didn't listen to the beginning of the joke. It's been every day for years. We had a windstorm last year. It rained sideways. The front door of my house was closed. Water got in through that door. And when it stopped raining, fresh bird shit on my car. Took a shit 7 blocks that way and blew it in for 1,000 points. These birds are doing trick shots now. There's gotta be a TikTok account somewhere where birds are doing increasingly elaborate challenges that all end with bird turd on my Toyota Corolla. It's probably a video where one takes a shit from the grassy knoll, the other one takes a shit from the book depository. Both of them hit my windshield at the exact same time. It's called the second shitter theory. Here's the thing, I already did that pun. Drive-by shitting, second shitter theory, same pun. Comedy is so easy, you guys. Audiences are real dumb.
Have you ever had animals terrorize you like that?
I mean, we have like a skunk. I've never been skunked, but there is a skunk in our neighborhood. I run away. We have a lot of coyote problems over here, honestly.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
So like I have a few that like, and shaking pennies doesn't scare them anymore the way it used to. Like I used to have to walk my dog with like a baseball bat at night, and I'd be like,
wow.
I don't want to have to fight you, but I will. But it would be, I'd hit a tree. It'd be enough to scare them away. But they've gotten bold in the city.
This is a real problem. Mine was just aesthetic.
Yeah. Well, I've also like, I'm friends with a couple of my crows who like, I throw them peanuts every
awesome.
day. Yeah. I've like, I'm very actively tried to make friends with them, and they're homies now. So I won't be playing this album for them, but I have played several from the label. I like to get their opinion before anything.
You can just skip that track.
Yeah, exactly. We'll just skip over that one. It'll be good. Well, Jeremy, where can everybody find you online?
On Instagram, I'm at Hellwig Jeremy, because I guess there's a Jeremy Hellwig in Germany or something that took Jeremy Hellwig. Blue Sky, I'm on there. JeremyHellwig.com. That show, Fatal Bus Accident, that I was talking about, FBAcomedy.com. We have a bunch of like videos and stuff. We did a comeback show earlier this year and filmed it. And because the place was like, is this black box theater, and it's so like packed. Like it looks like some really good photographers just did like bootleg, filmed it, and we edited it together. Like it just like sometimes like a pole would get in the way of like the action. Like it just looks cool, I think. And it's funny. We just got into SF Sketchfest. I just got the email.
Really? Oh, hell yeah. Congratulations.
For so long, we've had videos that either the quality of the actual video was bad, or you can't tell what the fuck is happening because it's a whole narrative show, and I would try to like take a snippet. And now that we have that recorded show that looks really good, I guess that helped. So
yeah, that's awesome. Hell yeah. Congrats, dude.
No, I'm real excited. Oh, and another thing that I almost forgot to mention is I think I'm going to do that promotion where if you pre-order my album and you pre-order my wife's book, and then you, I guess, contact us somehow, we'll mail you a thing that we found in our house. So,
I love that. Well, and as we've spoken about, there's lots of art and lots of cool things, and who knows what it's around. Yeah. What can you tell me about your wife's book a little bit?
Her name's Liz Zirkle, and she writes spicy rom-com. She's a romance author, and it's a Christmas novella, and it's called Candy Cane Lane, and it's about this couple that meet. She accidentally moves. She doesn't realize that she moved to a place where like everyone like goes insane with Christmas decoration, and so like the whole street is like mad at her, and then she falls in love with the guy next door.
Hell yeah.
So,
I love that. Yeah. So, where can they? I know this. I'll link both of these things, but where can they
Yeah,
pre-order the book?
that's on Amazon. If you search for Liz Zirkle, Candy Cane Lane, you should be able to find it.
How do you spell Urkel?
Zrkel.
Okay, cool. Got it.
And then if you don't want to pre-order it, but you just want to read it, it'll be on Kindle Unlimited whenever it comes out. So
Hell yeah.
people that read a lot of books know what that means. So
Yeah. Totally. Totally. Man, that's interesting. Has how long has she been a romance author for?
she published her first book, I think 3 years ago.
Okay.
She's been a writer for like forever. Like she has her
Well,
own
yeah.
thing, creative writing, and then
Mhm.
I think it just took her, I don't know, most of her life to realize, wait, I want to write romance. I
Yeah.
don't give a shit about other stuff, you know? And
Yeah.
so I don't read romance, but I read her first book and it's really, really good.
Awesome.
I'm a slow enough reader that I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna read all these, or that would be the only thing I read. But
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, one of my and I love younger people getting into like the romance writing game. One of my best friends is a she was a romance editor at Penguin,
Oh,
and
nice.
she had a lot of older authors who were great and had long storied careers, but like she would get into fights with them all the time about being like, you can't all these books are women being raped. You got to stop.
Oh,
You got to stop that. Like that's an older problem in romance.
yeah.
And it
Well,
was
it's
like a
like
fight she got into often.
it's so funny because I am so steeped in like online controversy around like comedians and shit that she never
Yeah.
hears about, and then she'll be telling me about like romance world
Yeah.
controversies. Like there was this awards ceremony, and it's all these different subgenres, and one of them was religious. And the book that won, it's like the story is basically this guy participates in a massacre of Native Americans
Oh
on the
my
prairie or
god.
whatever, and
Yeah.
then he meets a woman and finds God. And people were like, "Hey, this sucks. Why'd you pick that?" And then they doubled down and they said, "Well, the romance subgenre is defined by one of the characters commits a crime against humanity and then finds salvation through love and God." And they were like, "That's not what your website says. And also, salvation isn't a part of all these other religions." And they just
No.
kept doubling down, and now that award ceremony doesn't exist anymore. Uh, there's
Wow.
so many like someone fucked up and then pissed off a bunch of people, and then now it doesn't exist anymore stories. Whereas in comedy, it's like, and then they moved to Austin.
Yeah, no, basically there is no Austin for romance writers.
Oh yeah,
That's so funny. Yeah, they don't police their own in the same way that
yeah,
comedy does. Or like, and by police their own, I mean just let you get away with it, and because you don't want to deal with it. Good for them.
yeah.
Good for them. When
Yeah,
the
it's like
romance,
Liz will be like, I don't blame my friends for liking so and so's books, but she's kind of a bad person. That's the equivalent of like her being like, do we like this guy? I'm like, no, and she's like, sexual predator or just his comedy sucks. I'm like, oh, just his comedy
uh,
sucks. But
yeah, 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 exactly. You just gotta check. You gotta check in to see what we're dealing with. Also, and often that diagram crosses. Not all the time, but enough.
yeah,
That's funny, man. Well, buy Candy Cane Lane and Rung from Above together. You can get them both
and
together.
we'll mail you a thing that is in our house. I
I
have a
love
printer
the
over here. It
idea.
doesn't work. It'd be probably too expensive. Shipping it would cost more than we got out of the pre-orders, but if we get it out of our house,
Yeah, yeah. This is just like a nice fall cleaning that you guys end up doing.
yeah, anyone local, we're just gonna drop it at your porch.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a 5-year-old Funko Pop I do not want in my house anymore. Get it out.
It's like a Funko Pop from a show we like, but the actor's been canceled.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Oh my god, just the graveyard of canceled Funko Pops is that's a warehouse for you.
I never thought about it until just now.
God, just an action figure of so many bad people. We have them. America. Fuck yeah.
Mhm.
That's what we do. All right, everybody. Well, order those things, get them, and share it out. Do all the things. And yeah, we'll talk to you later. Bye bye.
Bye.